Hey, good morning. This is Eric from Justice for Youth, and this is just going out to all of our On Point facilitators. I'm hoping that you enjoyed your break. I know I did. In our work, we need to learn to unplug, refuel, recharge, refocus. Because of the kind of work we do, it's very demanding and can be very draining when we carry so much of these students' stories, pain, hurt, suffering. So it was very important that we had that break, and I'm hoping you come back rested and refocused and recharged. I know I did. This morning, I was really looking forward to our circles, and I was not disappointed. I had been praying and just looking forward to my time with them, especially entering into this series, which is very close to my heart. It's our love series, and I'm just making this video to help you guys during your facilitation of your circles. I know that various sites and circles are at different stages and may be a little bit behind, and I would encourage you to kind of go with the flow of your group. If you feel like you want to finish up safety because that's pertinent and important for you, then do that. If you feel like you want to jump out and into our love series, feel free to do that as well. Because of some holidays and different schools having different schedules, I know that we all haven't met on the same times and been on the same weeks, but at least you have the curriculum in your hands and you can kind of be flexible. Okay, I'm going to do some screen sharing. So let me click onto the curriculum so you guys can see it. And there it is now. So it's broken down 4 ways, and this is like continuous, and it builds upon each other each week. And the first week is on loving yourself. So the objective is to help students to love themselves. The reality is many young people never hear these words, I love you. The absence of these words can create huge holes in their hearts. Many become hardened and sometimes incapable of knowing, feeling, and expressing real love. Sometimes youth can even begin to believe that they are unlovable. And our job as facilitators, mentors, is to reassure them that they are loved, that they can love, and we want to teach them to love themselves in spite of the imperfections that they may have. So what I did today was I started by introducing the topic and the objective, and I just talked about how many youth don't hear these words, how they're leaving every day from their homes void of these things. And then I transitioned into a journal, and I had them share of 3 things that they love about themselves. I had them explain why it is that they love these things. And then towards the tail end, I had them share 3 things that they hate about themselves and why they hate those things. I think it's important to start with the things they love. Many of my students today, and I had about 12 in my circles at Pomona, they had but maybe 1 thing that they loved. Some of them didn't even have one. So it's really true, man. They don't even love themselves. They can't figure out what it is that's valuable about them. The second thing is they were very heavy on the things that they hate. Some of them even wrote more than 3 things. We have to deal with the things they hate about themselves to teach them to work through those things and eventually move to being able to add things that they love. Then I went ahead and I showed this video. This video is a 0 through 100 video. They interview people of all ages asking them what is love. And you could tell in the video, man, a lot of people seem confused by it. A lot of people refer to a romantic relationship to define love. And I provide a simple definition of love, which is an intense feeling of deep affection. After the video is shown, I asked them the same question. Well, what is love to you? And we have deep conversation centered around that. And then I start kind of diving into the fact that every human has a deep need to be loved. Many of us, we may say, oh, I don't need this and I don't need to hear that and blah, 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 blah. But no, the reality is every human has a need to be loved. And a secondary journal entry that I used this morning for the second group was, would you please list 3 people that you feel really comfortable saying the words, I love you to? And then I had them list 3 people that have told them that they love them. And oh, my heart broke. So many of the youth said, man, I don't really have anybody who's ever told me that or meant that. they've even referred to their parents like never saying these things at all. So man, they're coming from such dry, broken, without affection settings. We can understand more and more why these kids sometimes are the way they are. So I transitioned to saying, hey man, we want to help you understand that you are loved. And this is where I speak from my heart, and I tell them, man, I love you, dog. Even though you may not know me, I want you to know I love you. With some of the young ladies hearing it from a man stepping in the gap for their father, I tell them, man, I love you, Mija. And if your father was here, with this one young lady, she lost her father last year, I said he would see how beautiful you've grown and what an amazing young lady you are. He would say the same thing, that he loves you. And this is where I tell them, and I break into my testimony, man. I can count on one hand the amount of times that my biological father has told me he's loved me. One hand in all my life. I'm 31 years old. And, you know, I tell them that it wasn't until I was 16 years old that I finally experienced real love. And that was through my relationship with God. You know, I had a moment where God just overwhelmed me with this unconditional, non-judgmental, radical, sacrificial love. And when I experienced that, it began to help me to love myself and to also begin to love other people. And I tell them, you know, the key to really moving forward is really embracing real love. And I tell them, you have it here with me. You have it here with our mentors and facilitators. And mentors, facilitators, I tell you, beware. Do not say these things and be empty in the things that you say. We got to be ready to back it up. We got to be ready to stay involved in these youth lives and stay connected. And there are easy ways to do that because of social media. But let's take the extra extension and find a way to include them in our everyday lives. You know, this is also a time in my circles where I begin to tell them that we don't only love them, but God loves them. And God loves them so much that he actually gave the greatest gift for them. And that was life. He gave his son's life, you know, for the fact that they would have life and that it would be abundant and it would be eternal. For those of you that are facilitating that aren't faith-filled people, you know, use whatever relationships that are unconditional and non-judgmental and sacrificial to paint the picture of what this love looks like. And once they experience this love, the youth begins to learn to love themselves and others. And I give them 6 practical tools that they can do to love themselves. There's even a link here that you can do. You can read up more about that. But because I've been using it for so long, I know the content. I focus on the first 2. Get rid of negative influences in your life. Take more time to do things that you want to do. And in my circles, within their journals, I have them write the one person this week that they need to remove, that they need to get away from, that isn't benefiting them, that's always seeming to be bringing problems, or they're very selfish, it's not reciprocal, the relationship doesn't give back, right? Also, I have them identify something that they love to do, and I really encourage them to set a goal to do it. And then my job as an accountable, as a facilitator, is to keep them accountable next week when I see them. Hey, did you do this? Did you do this? For those of you female facilitators that are watching this, I want you to know that I have one young lady in particular at Pomona who's in desperate need of mentorship. Her name is Angela. And the one thing she loves to do is to go and eat and watch TV. And she just can't do it because they're poor and they don't even have a television. So I told her, man, I can find a mentor who'd be willing to spend a few hours with you, take you to grub on some bomb food at a restaurant, and then also be willing to possibly take you to see a movie. Would you like that? And she said, yes, I would like that, right? So if any of you are listening to this, watching this, and that's in your heart to reach out to this young lady and spend time with her, I can make it happen, okay? So think about that. At the end of reviewing, I mean, I mentioned all 6, but I only challenge them to commit to the first 2. I asked them to watch this ending video, which is very encouraging and a little funny. It's a good thing, okay? So that's the video for this week. I love you guys. I'm praying for you guys as you guys are at your various sites. Reach out to me if you need anything. Charlotte is going to be loading up our USB discs with the new videos for the rest of the month. I know that for your first week, which is Love Yourself, the videos are already on there. So feel free to use those. You don't need internet. They're already downloaded, and you should be okay. But again, reach out to me if you think that a visit from me in your circle would be great. If you think that, I could just be in support of you in any other way, reach out. I'm here for that. So I'm praying for you guys, and I'll see you later this week, okay?